Hello friends, family and other creatures of the sea. Welcome back to another best of 5 here on the HarstemCasts channel. Today we're going to be having a look at a series played between, in the top left spawning as the blue Terran player Dream, and in the bottom right spawning as the red Protoss player. It's going to be Classic, who was one of my all-time favorite players. I've been growing very fond of a lot of Terrans lately. I'm not quite sure why, but I just really like Bunny, Dream, and Cure. These are my 3 favorite Terrans. I'm not even sure why exactly. I just think Dream is really cool, and I like the way he plays so solid. I have similar feelings with Cure, and I love Bunny because he's so, well, how do we call it? Special. He just plays like a complete idiot, but he does it extremely well. Which is why I wish I had more Bunny replays. Like, I wish I could get other people as enthusiastic about Bunny as I currently am. I think Bunny is honestly one of the most fun players in the entire world to watch. His games are always very exciting. He's overly aggressive. He takes insane risks, very often with no payout whatsoever. He's the type of guy that if he has 2 roads in front of him, they're both exactly as long, and one road is covered in snakes and alligators, he'll take that road just for the added excitement. And that's exactly how he plays StarCraft as well. And then you have Dream, who kind of transformed into initially a very aggressive player when he came back from the military, and now I think is a lot more consistent in his play. Very, very solid. His mid game, I think, is honestly one of the best in the world when it comes to TVP. He loves to play 8 Rex openers, loves to go into 8 Rex of like a semi-base tradey style. His control is very solid, although not perfect. I think it's a little bit conservative in a way, and I really like watching him play. Classic, of course, is a very intelligent player who is known to have very good preparation, especially for big series. But so far, whenever I've watched him in these online tournaments where preparation isn't that big of a deal, where you kind of have to rely on your overall skill level, I've been a little bit disappointed in him. I'm not going to lie. I don't think he's been close yet to the old level that he had before. And whenever I see him play in these best of 7, best of 3s, best of 5, whatever it is, in these online cups where he didn't have a week or a couple of days to prepare, he's honestly just not been great. He's been okay, don't get me wrong. I've been enjoying watching him figure out the meta a little bit in the past month and a half, but the level that he used to have just isn't quite there yet. So maybe that's going to change this time around. Now, we do have our good boy Dream here opening up with a 3 Rex opener, which is going to mean that it's going to be a little bit aggressive. We have Classic starting with a Phoenix first. Now, best case scenario here for Classic is that he scouts that his opponent is opening 3 Rex. But very often, if Terrans open up with such a fast Marine, no Reaper, you actually kind of want to save the Phoenixes in case your opponent goes for a mine drop. It's not going to be the case here. Wait, did he lose his Adept? No. Adept just went home, I guess. Yeah, Phoenix Scout is going to go across the map. I like this. This is a very safe play. It would have been better to save it in case of a mine drop, but against the 3 Rex, this is absolutely correct. Now, of course, he didn't know it was a 3 Rex, but he's going to find out now. And I think Dream is going to be pretty happy with this. I'm curious what the response is going to be, because this tends to not be a great opener for Protoss. Yeah, okay, immediately goes into Robo. So his response here is going to be indeed that of a Phoenix Colossi follow-up here. I like that, but actually I have insider information here. One of my friends told me, one of my friends who shall remain unnamed, told me that Bian says that the Phoenix Colossi actually is a hard counter to 3 Rex. So, and I think Bian is one of the most experienced 3 Rex players, so I take his opinion on this type of matter very serious. I do have to admit that Bian's 3 Rexes tend to be very overly aggressive at times, and I think if you play a 3 Rex that is a little bit more conservative, so when you're playing against a 2 base opener that you can scout with a Marine, that it might be kind of okay for the Terran. But we should see what Dream decides to do, how he decides to use his units, how he decides to move out, whether he decides to move out. I mean, he sees 3 Phoenixes, but he doesn't really have a whole lot of other information. He doesn't know if there's a third base or not. You can just stay at home and pretend like your opponent isn't expanding, but moving out also, of course, has some inherent danger in it, as then the Phoenixes might be able to pick off a couple of SCVs, maybe even kill a mule here or there. You need to build turrets in order to prevent that, and even then fully preventing Phoenixes from lifting units is close to impossible. Double batteries are on the way here at the third base. There's a battery in the natural as well, and an immortal is being pumped out. There's a lot of gateway units here coming out of these 3 gateways, and the 4 Phoenixes are on the other side of the map still trying to get something done. Dream says, you know what, I love the way you're playing, buddy, but I'm not going to be moving out until I get my 2 medevacts out, and he will be hitting a relatively quick 2 medevac timing. Sadly for Dream, however, a Colossi will have hit the field at that point, and there's one thing in life that you don't want to do, and that's fighting with pure Marine, because let's not forget this was a pure... Ooh, nice control out of Classic there, forcing that pickup to be delayed, and now even delaying this medevac move out even further. This has been really good control, forcing more Marines to stay at home. And yep, nice attempt here by Dream, trying to stim in, get something done. I think Classic is still hiding his Colossi, maybe not on purpose, but he was definitely doing that. This Phoenix control has absolutely been marvelous here. Hasn't lost a single Phoenix. Has done a lot of indirect damage with these Phoenixes. Now lifting his first SCV. I think that was the first kill he got. But delayed this push out by so much. And now the Colossi is here. And Dream is going to be in a little bit of trouble. Classic's going to be moving forward. Should not be losing any of these Phoenixes. There's actually a danger here for Classic. And that's potentially that if a drop hits the main base and Classic isn't ready, he could actually just, well, maybe not die, but he could be in a lot of trouble. Because this army is only good if it's in one big ball. This is an interesting engagement here out of Dream. Tries to spread out his Marines, the Colossi not firing on big chunks of those Marines. Fantastic control here out of Dream, who somehow is almost making Marines look like the counter to the Colossi. Of course, in the end, 2 Colossi will remain, as they really can be killed by pure Marines, but all of the gateway units have disappeared. And I think if you want to have a fight, if you want to have a trade and your name is Dream, this is most likely going to be one of the best fights imaginable with pure Marine against 2 Colossi. Now, Thermal Lance, I believe, was not done yet in that fight, but ooh, look at this. This is nice. This is really nice even. We have a small mine drop heading into the natural. These mines are burrowed, by the way, and they have the armory done, so they're not going to be visible to the naked eye of the Phoenix or the Stalker. They require Observer for additional vision. This drop is also going unspotted so far, and I actually think that the Classic might be in a little bit of trouble. Here comes another drop moving in, 2 Marauders and a Marine joining in as well, and now we're going to see the stim immediately. Colossi completely out of position, will try to walk up over here. We see a recall, but I'm not even quite sure what he's recalling. Try to recall a single sentry. Oh, that was a fake recall! That was a fake recall. He wanted to force his opponent away from the Nexus, away from the probes, so he recalled a single sentry to pretend like a massive army was recalling. I love that type of play. The fake recall. It's one of the things I used to do as well against Terran, is where I would just recall a probe back to that base. So that the Terran would lift up its entire army, and then you could come from like the side with your Stalkers, try to pick off the medevacs. Such a cool little play there out of Classic. This is the type of thing I mean, that when I call him an intelligent player, it's just he just has a lot of tricks meant to kind of trick the opponent or get a slight edge where perhaps other people don't see an edge. Current state of the game is looking pretty okay here for Classic. Down a bit in upgrades, and we see actually not an 8 Rex coming out of Dream this time around. It's going to be 5 Rex into double starport. So switching it up, and actually this is looking a lot like a timing attack here. 2-1 is about to finish up. We have Ghost, we have a bunch of Vikings, potentially walking into a supply block as 3 depots are about to finish up. 4th base coming in as well. The medevac count isn't necessarily super high. I think he probably lost a couple of medevacs. Yeah, 5 medevacs have gone down. But the Ghost Viking might be able to This push has potential. Look at the timing of these upgrades. There right now is about a minute at which there's going to be at least a single upgrade advantage here. And I think there's going to be a decent Viking count. However, it's not completely impossible that Dream decides to wait for bigger Viking numbers, like maybe 10 or maybe 12 Vikings, and then goes while he has enhanced shockwave. But I think he might just slightly miss his timing. I'm surprised he starts with +2 armor over +3 attack, as attack upgrades tend to be more important. It's lacking a little bit of gas. He's getting so many structures at the same time. He's getting his ghost, getting quadruple Viking production, and getting double upgrades as well. We see he's trying to get that upgrade. He's actually going to open up with ship weapons first. So prioritizing the ship weapons even over the +3 army attack. Now, Classic thinks he has a timing, but I think he doesn't. I think Classic does not have a timing at all. I don't mind him setting up, but if he thinks he can attack with this into this setup, I think he's lost his mind, because that's just not going to be possible. Classic needs to stay around to deny potential fort bases, but he wants to go for it. He has a big army that can fight. First disruptor shots, both of those are missing. There now is no disruptors remaining, and this is gonna be hell for Classic. Needs to be so careful, and hence shockwave is done as well. There's no blink. Fantastic EMPs are hitting all of these colossi. Archons remaining actually kind of intact for now and dishing out a lot of damage. All the colossi will go down, and now the rest of this army starts looking extremely weak. We see one more disruptor shot is going to hit a decently sized part of this army, but this fight did not go well for Classic. And this is what I was afraid of. If he does not hit any big disruptor shots, I mean, he hit one, but he needed a little bit more, and preferably at the start of the fight. It's just going to be a really difficult fight, and now all of a sudden Dream reset the big unit count, and he's going to be fighting with soon-to-be superior upgrades, with Ghost, with a lot of barrack production as well, against a purely gateway army. So even though right now it doesn't look fantastic for Dream, this sets him up for a future push, which is going to look fantastic. He has really good infrastructure. We're on 8 barracks currently. Out of those 8 barracks, 4 have reactors and 4 have tech labs. Yep. 5th base is going down as well at the same time. Look how many Marines he's building. He's building Marines because Marines have higher DPS than Marauders, and he knows he just reset the Colossi count. There's only a single Robo here. It's gonna take ages to build a decent amount of robo units, whether that's Immortals, Colossi, or Disruptors. Dark Shrine is going down. This is going to be really painful here for Classic. I'm surprised we're not seeing a single Ghost being added in this army. I actually really am surprised, because I would think a 3-2 Ghost, basically maxed push, could just potentially win the game here. There's not a single cannon yet at this base. These mines are gonna be pushing in. Zealot Runby will head towards this planetary, but will not be able to do anything of meaning here, as SCVs repair just in time. Here comes the mine drop. Let's take a look. Is Classic ready to deal with this? He's not really dealing with this at all. Now he sees it, and sees it a little bit too late. Already lost 8 workers. He's gonna lose, well, 1 more Zealot here. Both of these mines also are gonna get picked up. Dream is so extremely careful with every single unit. Does not want to lose anything here. He's gonna double drop. Well, there is a... Actually, in the main base, I thought it was going to go to the natural. We probably remembered what he saw a cannon earlier in the natural already. Decided against it. He has such a powerful timing right now, though. Dream has such a powerful timing. This is the timing I was talking about. Right now, there is 3 disruptors, which is not sufficient. 4 disruptors is not sufficient against an army this size. Look how many Marines this army has. The damage output of this army is huge. 3 Ghosts with EMP and Enhanced Shockwave are going to make Classic's life hell. Let's have a look. Will he be able to hit his EMPs? EMPs not going off yet. There they go. 1, no 2, no 3. What? No. Okay, here we go. I mean, the DPS in this army is just simply too high. There's too much damage output, and Classic was not quite ready for this. It's gonna get absolutely destroyed by this army. We see a couple of targets on these disruptors, and Dream takes game number 1 in this best of 5. Game number 2 in this best of 5 will be played on Romanticide, a rather large map where Lightshade is one of the smaller maps. A map open for dropping. Well, not so much for dropping, but mainly for the big engagement with big concaves. Makes it nice to play for Terran. This map isn't so much that, but it is a powerful dropping map. See a very quick scout here out of Classic. What are you doing, Classic? Where are you going? It's gonna be a proxy gate, isn't it? Oh yeah, it's gonna be a proxy gate. Yep. Second pylon will be built on the high ground here. We'll see how Dream decides to deal with that. I mentioned before, he is a scouter. He is a consistent player who likes to open up very similar in a lot of his games. The question is, will he be ready for a proxy gate? And what will his response be? Classic mixing it up, as we're known from Classic, of course. Not a guy to play a single build order 5 times in a row. He's not your Zest or maybe even Trap, who wouldn't mind doing that. Would say if they're comfortable with a build, they'll continue playing that, whether they're winning or losing. Classic says, no, I have many builds up my sleeves. I'm a diverse player. Marine is going to be the first unit pumped out here for Dream. And Dream will start moving across the map with his SCV as well. The question is going to be, will we see a reactor or straight factory? That is going to be the big question, and it seems to be a factory. So we're going to be playing Marine into factory here. Okay. I think this is one of the potentially worst openers here for Dream. Sees the natural, or well, the lack of a natural. Bunker should start going down. Yep, this SCV. Ooh, another Marine gets produced immediately. Okay, now I kind of like this. It is a little bit of a delay on the Marine, of course. It's not going to be an extremely big amount of Marines. First Stalker will come out at some point. Adept is also being sent out. Now, is 2 Marines enough to deal with a Stalker? I think the answer is going to be no. You're going to need at least 3-4 Marines. However, this bunker might just finish up, and if this bunker finishes up, all of a sudden this might be completely okay. Oh, 1 Marine is gonna be... No! Bad target firing there out of Classic, but didn't matter. Just get the Marine in the end, and this build looks really silly all of a sudden, and kind of bad, honestly. Now, the CC is going up and will finish. There is 2 Stalkers. There is an Adept as well, who stayed at home for a little bit too long, in my opinion. Could have made its way across the map perhaps a little bit faster. This is going to be a Cyclone, isn't it? Cyclone against Proxygate really is a very good call. Often we don't even have a reactor. Look at that. Look at that complete lack of a reactor. That was an SCV, I think, that just went down. Stargate will be the follow-up of choice for Classic. We're not actually seeing anything being produced here. Now we go. Cyclone starts. We'll have some denial of mining, and mules can't land yet in the natural, but that's not going to be the biggest of deals. We have 4 Marines out, and once that Cyclone also pops, I actually think that Dream is going to be in a fantastic spot here. Finished his orbital command. His opponent is down in workers, or well, actually slightly up in workers, but if we count... ooh, Classic. Okay, he saw the tech lab. I was like, that's a good call, actually. It's impressive, but he actually just scouted it. It's less impressive if you scout it. I thought he just had the game sense, knowing when that first Cyclone would finish. Viking! Oh my god. Dream can read this game like a madman. How does he know that this is a Stargate follow-up? I do not know. He's gonna go for a big attack here, by the way, Classic. So the plan here is to go in with Phoenixes, lift any of the expensive tech units, and then just go in and say, tada, I will win now. He's gonna save up 2-3 Phoenixes. He doesn't want to show them because that might give away his plan. And he's doing this off of 2 gates as well. I really like it. I don't think he should be showing more than 3 Adepts here. You already like, what's the point of that? You might just force your opponent to get more defensive. Delay their barracks more, get more units out of the initial 3 buildings. So let's not forget that if Classic doesn't deal a crap ton of damage here, he's just gonna be kind of dead, honestly. Like, really kind of dead. Worker count is not good enough for Classic. Income is in favor of Dream. Dream also has pretty decent X. Can I get a 3rd command center and a barracks at the same time? Probably was floating a little bit of money. I did not quite notice that. Raven is on the way, and here comes Classic. Dream not quite in position with the SCVs. Doesn't even have the Marines in the bunkers. There is, however, enough on the high ground to defend the tank for now. Now the tank needs to move a little bit, and I don't think the tank is really down with that plan. The tank stays on the high ground. The Cyclone's not helping out too much. We'll try to get an Adept over here. Will the Shade finish? Yes, the Shade will finish. Cyclone's gonna get lifted. This tank is gonna get lifted as well. I think Classic is doing a fantastic job here. He's taking out a lot of these units. Takes out the Raven as well, but now he's gonna be stuck with all of those Stalkers. There's only 4 Marines, however. And I actually think there's not enough Dream here, and Classic might just win the game straight up. Yep, 37 XTVs against 43 of more units being warped in. These two Stalkers being stuck is a little bit expensive. We now have a robotics facility on the way as well here for Classic, who's just ahead. 10 workers have gone down. This CC is getting low as well. Tank will be out soon, and the tech count for Classic also has reset. He's getting his own third base. He's up 13 workers, but Stim is almost done already. Did he do enough? It's really difficult to judge this situation. And not only because this type of situation rarely ever happens, but also because it just isn't clear where the advantages are. Or it's clear where the advantages are, but it's not clear how they weigh up against each other. Oh, a couple of adepts are trying to get some damage done. 13 workers have gone down. Stim is about to finish up. Okay, quick evaluation of the situation here. We have a third base on the way for Classic, which is going to be later than his opponents. He has 51 workers. He has a robotics facility. He will be able to get attack upgrades going as well. His opponent is not even mining from his natural yet, but there is triple orbital. There's a couple of mules ready. There's decent enough infrastructure. I would say if there was a reactor on this starport already, that I actually wouldn't mind Dream's position so much, because he potentially could be hitting really hard with a follow-up push. With Stim, I guess combat also isn't done yet. Do we have +1? No eBay either. Okay. Classic is just ahead then. Yeah, if combat, reactor and +1 were done, I'd say this is a fine game because Dream has some counter-attack potential. But right now, I'm not too sure. And the one thing that Classic was weak against are drops. Is really the only thing that he's weak against. Because he has no Phoenix, he has no Blink. I'm surprised we're going to be seeing Charge over Blink. Because there's only a single tank, not two tanks, but I don't think these can move out. I don't think Dream can move out with a straight up army and start fighting. The only way that Dream can fight is through drops. And you either get Phoenixes or Blink, I would say, to deal with that. But perhaps Classic believes that he has so much aggressive momentum that he can just straight up kill. And I think that if he manages to get all of those upgrades out without getting any pressure from the side of Dream, he indeed will be able to do that. However, if Dream somehow finds a way to pump Medivacs out and get on the map, it might be possible for Dream to get into that 8-Drex and start doing things. But the longer he stays at home, the worse it's going to get for him. Of course, Dream is not quite aware of that. Dream, I think, extremely unaware of his current position. He scanned, or at least saw at some point, hey, you have a fifth or a sixth gas already on that third base. Even have a fourth on the way here. This is a very bad position for Classic. Dream slowly is catching up in the army supply and even pulling ahead a little bit. But yeah, I think Classic's just going to walk across the map with a prism, with charge, warp in 3 Archons, 2-3 Archons, and say, ta-da, my name is Classic, I'm here to come claim my victory. I'd be surprised if he doesn't attack with this army. I'd be extremely surprised, even a little bit shocked perhaps. Would it hurt me? Yes, it would. 1-1, well, will it be done? Was that 30 seconds away or so? It's going to be close, I don't think so. Well, still need to warp in the Archons. It's being done at home. 3 Archons indeed being warped in at home right now. We have 10 gateways. That's a big amount of reinforcement. It's going to be going for a drop. We'll fly over the depot, so the drop's going to get cancelled. I hope. Classic's actually going to go for it? No way. Yeah, no, actually no shot, right? 1-1 will finish up. This is a big army though. There's a couple of mines here as well. I'm not sure if he can fight this. I'm not quite sure if Dream can fight this. Now, this is a drop I'm not a fan of, because you know you're about to be under attack by a big Zealot count. 4 mines would help a lot against the... Yep. Now, Dream realized as well, but none of these Zealots are in the prime positions to deal with these Zealots. The tanks are starting to take fire immediately as well, because those Zealots managed to get through so easily. Yeah, I think this is just it. I don't think there is enough Dream here. There's just a little bit too much. Classic mine will hit these Colossi, but it's not going to be enough. 10 more Zealots are being warped in as this gateway, providing a lot of utility throughout this game. And Classic, after a bad early game, or at least a bad proxy gate, still manages to take the game after a nice push with that Phoenix, Adept, Stalker move. Fantastic game out of the Korean Protoss, and we'll be heading into game number 3. And game number 3 here, played between Dream and Classic. And what is Dream doing here? Well, he's sending out an SCV. And if we take a look at the timing, This looks a whole lot like an eBay block. Now the eBay block is a classic build order, but not made by the player classic, but it's a build order that has been in the Terran arsenal of build orders that annoy the crap out of me for a while now. They've been very intense with it. They were playing it every single game for a while, and the main counter to it is a 110 probe. This means that the previous probe is supposed to be sent down. Classic here is going to be in a little bit of trouble because this eBay is going to have a lot of HP already by the time he comes down. And it's basically going to be done. You need to pull 4 or 5 workers, yep. And in this case, the Zealot is the only option. What is this pylon placement? In case he wants to build a Stargate over here or what? I've never seen this in my life. Ding, ding, ding. Okay, so it's going to be Zealot, Marine, what else? What are we gonna see here? Will the follow-up be a Reaper? No, it's going to be straight factory. Okay, this is the classic. I think he even opened double gas. Oh my god, he opened double gas. Classic isn't aware of that. Doesn't matter too much because it's not gonna change things. You can do the same thing with gas first. Very similar openers, except now you can slightly quicker still go into that. Needs to get a depot, yeah. It's gonna delay his CC a little bit for that, that's for sure. We're gonna see a proxy starboard, aren't we? Yeah, this is proxy starboard territory. Oh, this is super proxy starboard territory. Look at that. Look at this guy. This guy was meant to do big things in life. He started by building an eBay in enemy territory, and then he'll go for a starport. He's gonna drop 4 cars and... What is this pylon? Classic's pylon positioning this game is just so odd. This looks like a pylon I would throw down because I forgot to build a pylon and there accidentally was a probe over there. It's like, oh, well, might as well. Stargate is being constructed, which is the ideal counter against what Dream is doing here. The problem is he opened up with a Zealot, which just delays everything so much. This Stargate is so late. It started at 240-ish. Oh my god, that's pain. That's actual pain. There's going to be 4 cars here. We're going to see a medevac as well, and I think by the time the medevac is out, there might be a Phoenix. Depends on how the chrono boost will be used. We have 1 chrono boost available. I think... Yeah, he might just have a single Phoenix. He won't be able to make an Oracle. It's going to be slightly supplyable. Ah, no, wait, the Nexus finishes. Never mind. I chrono boost the probes. No battery anywhere. Now, battery in the main base, actually. Okay, that is going to help. Having a battery in the main base is actually going to help. I think he's just in trouble. I think Classic is just in a world of trouble here. He's gonna have how many units? Okay, he's gonna have 5 gateway units. That's a lot of gateway units, I have to admit. Classic is looking for something. And he is gonna find it right now. Or should I say that perhaps Dream is the one that finds something, and the thing that he finds is damage. 3 workers have gone down already. I should probably just lift a single one of those Hellions. Gonna lose 9 workers before even a single Hellion goes down. Now we'll pick up, go to the natural, and there's no battery there, which means that Classic's gonna be in a world of trouble here. 2 Phoenixes will try to help out. 14 workers gone down. This is awful here. This is absolutely terrible. Command center is not done yet, but I mean, by the time this will be done, I don't think Classic can catch up 5 workers. Classic at this point needs to be ahead 5 workers. He is down 6 instead. That means he is down 11 workers, relatively speaking, from the usual position. Now, that's not very good. Actually, that's freaking terrible. That's awful. It's awful. It's terrible. It's terrible. It's the worst thing that could happen to you. Second barracks is done already as well, so Dream will be able to follow this up with a quick push. I would say, if I am Classic, the only thing I can do is counterattack. The problem is he's working off a single gateway and a single Stargate. He has 3 air units and he has 4 adepts. This is not the material you need for a counterattack. Dream is so confident here that he doesn't even build a bunker, which is brave but also stupid. Often there's a thin line between those two. Like, the only way he can possibly lose this game is if he dies in the next 35 seconds. If he doesn't die in the next 35 seconds, he's gonna push out across the map with 2 medevacs, stim, +1, a bunch of marines, and he's going to win the game, or at least deny a 3rd base, and remain ahead forever, basically. This adept gets taken out. Now, don't get me wrong, Dream is not going to die, but not building a bunker is just a risk that I don't think is necessary. There is nothing here that can kill him. I just don't see it. 3 adepts make their way in... Oh, actually, no, those are the Phoenixes. Adapt shaded out. Phoenix is in the main base. Will be able to take out a couple of workers, which is nice. And might put Classic at a slightly better position, but still an awful position nonetheless. He has no tech. Third base is just now starting. Third barracks is on the way, is about to finish up. Stim is about to finish up. And I think we're going to see Dream move across the map. And oh, what does Classic have? This is a counterattack Oracle, by the way. This is not your regular Oracle. This is the Oracle that says, hey, when you move out, I'm gonna try to survive with everything I have at home, and I want to kill 25 workers on your side of the map. Even's going to use these Phoenixes, but this of course means that there's also a lot of supply not at home, and the army supply is already relatively small. He's going to use the Phoenixes to take out as many Marines as he can, and I really like this out of Classic actually. The sad thing is though that Dream says, oh okay, you have your Phoenixes on my side. Good luck against the drop, my friend. How are you going to catch this? And Classic scratching himself on the head right now and saying, well, yeah, how actually am I going to be getting this? So drop loads up, will drop into the natural. 7 workers have gone down on the side of Classic now as well. This third base is going to get taken out by 8 Marines, a mine, and a Cyclone. And this Terran, yeah, I mean, he's not going to get caught. This medevac will now get taken out, but more workers have gone down on the side of Classic, then have gone down on the side of Dream. Dream continues his worker production, continues medevac popping out of that starport as well. And Classic is still in a world of trouble. Down 20 supply. Dream decides to walk up here. That is a monumental error, actually, as Combat Shield isn't quite done. Combat Shield hasn't even started. Now, that actually is a mistake that could be painful and would be painful had he not been ahead so far. But at this point, he's just going to rally across the map and I think straight up win the game. Then medevac magically manages to stay alive as well. There's no Phoenixes remaining. It's 5 Stalkers and a single Adept in. And yes, we are 7 minutes and 40 seconds into the game. This is not an army that you write home about. This is not a braggable army. Definitely isn't. This is like running the 100-meter dash in 25 seconds. It's like, I'm pretty sure there's people that can moonwalk it faster than that. This is not a unit count that you're going to be happy about whatsoever. Concussive Shell and Combat Shield. It's rare to see Concussive Shell finish faster than Combat Shield. But this time it does happen. 1-1 is about to finish up as well, but honestly, Classic is completely dead. I mean, there's almost more mines than there's regular units here. It's 21 Marines with it, 5 medevacs. This is no chance. There's absolutely no chance here for Classic, as these mines are going to hit. The Marines will target down the Archon. Classic taps out and Dream puts himself on match point. Potentially the final game in this best of 5, and once again we have Dream opening up with a similar opener. Let's see how he decides to move his SCV. Ooh, he's not sure either. He went to the left, went to the right, went to the left, went to the right. He's going to take the middle path and is actually going to get spotted here by Classic. Let's see if Classic's paying attention. Sees the I mean, he should have seen that, right? There's no way he didn't see that. Yep. Immediately rallies down a probe into the natural. Should probably even send a second probe there. I wouldn't have minded that. Still want to build the eBay? I think Dream does. Dream definitely is down. Yep. Second probe is going to be moving down at this point as well. And the Cybercore will be constructed. That's a very late Cybercore. Sloppy. Sloppy, 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 sloppy. Very sloppy. 124 is the fastest possible Cybercore with a 16 gateway. This started at 130. That is a 6-second delayed Cybercore for no apparent reason. That is extremely sloppy. That is actually extremely sloppy. Very odd. Reaper opener is going to be the follow-up this time around. CC is also going down, and even though this CC is delayed, it's not actually going to matter because it can't be cancelled because this Cybercore is also super late. Weird mistake. Just a weird mistake. Just, oh, look at it, 206 start. Technically, I've seen people do it at 158, starting it. 158 is possible. 122, I guess the Cybercore is. You can do that if you build your pylon next to your main base because you have a little bit more money for that faster gateway. This Reaper's gonna come in and this Adept's gonna pop out same time as the Reaper. Dream's gonna wait a little bit. We'll be able to get one worker here for free. Sees the Twilight as well. This is the dream start for any Terran. Gets a kill, gets the scout, and gets to go out alive. Like, this is the dream for a Reaper, you know? Reapers know they have a short life, but they at least want to do something with that short life. And this one, oh my god, it's gonna get a second kill. This Reaper is single-handedly winning the game. Actually single-handedly winning the game. There's not gonna be anything here for you. Of course you're gonna be too late, Classic. 303, 304, like this is just way too late. Double Marine before Reactor. Bunker finished already. Good luck, my friend. Hellion is on the way as well over here. This Hellion's gonna pop out at 318. Classic's gonna try to take out a single SCV. It's not quite going to work. Yeah, I actually think that this Hellion Marine combo will be able to take this out. Reaper's coming back home as well, and this Adept is just going to fall. Might still lose an SCV if he isn't careful, but Dream, of course, is very careful, and Dream will lose absolutely nothing here. He's going to take a little bit of damage on the Hellion, take a little bit of damage on the Reaper, but the Reaper heals itself, the Hellion can be repaired, and the Marines go into the bunker. So an absolutely fantastic start here for the Korean Terran player. He's going to be facing a 2-gate Blink opener, one of the more standard openers. The game has been recovered from a replay. You love to see it, so someone must have lagged out before that. Battery going down, robotics facility. I think Classic's a little bit afraid, but I don't quite understand what he is afraid of. As the only thing he should be afraid of right now is a potential mine drop. He saw the Hellion opener and he saw the fact that it was a late reactor. Like, what's gonna happen? A triple Hellion drop? Do you really need a battery in the wall? No, you don't. Good call here. Very good call cancelling that battery. Absolutely not necessary. Instead we see double Stalker warp in, slightly faster third base will be the result of that cancel as well. Otherwise it's always going to be very difficult to get. He's going to be moving into a third base at this point, 4:33 into the game. Relatively late, I have to admit. That is pretty freaking late. Now we're going to be seeing the medevac join in as well into the fight. Blink is delayed as well for whatever reason. I'm not quite sure why Blink is so late. This mine is going to deny mining for a long time. You can even, yep, you can unburrow it here. This mine is going to get the drop off as well. And might be able to get 3 probes. Wow, 4 workers there. 1 worker got killed by this one. Fantastic start here for Dream. Dream killing 7 workers in the early game. 2 with a Reaper, 5 with 2 mines. Medevac did die, which is painful. Both mines did die, which is also painful. But what's even more painful is being equal in workers with a Terran player if you're a Protoss. So Classic's gonna move across the map. Now this is a risky move. You might be saying, well, he killed the medevac, Kevin. Why is this risky? It's because very often Terrans will play Raven behind this. If Dream had gone for a triple CC build, it would have been a Raven tank follow-up. Single tank, single Raven. The tank at home defends against this pressure, and the Raven can counterattack. So if the Stalkers move out, all of a sudden you might have 2 turrets in your main base, and you're gonna lose 3-4 more workers. The Raven will stay in this dead space forever. You're forced to have 2 Stalkers here, 2 Stalkers here, and you lost 10-12 workers total. Game would just be over by the time the first push with 2-3 tanks hits you. Someone like Hero Marine loves to play this. Hero Marine who has shown to be very competent in this matchup, by the way. Taking out SOS twice lately in the season finals. Should have probably said spoiler alert, but too bad, guys. If you didn't know, then you didn't know, and now you do know. I gave you free information. How can you complain? Good control out of Classic, actually. He's gonna go deep. We'll need to recall out here, or need to blink, and well, 2 more times is what he will need to blink for. Stim not quite done yet, so these Stalkers will make it out alive. At least 5 of them will. 5 workers get killed, so there was big damage here out of Classic. Classic's worker count looks very high, and that's because he delayed his infrastructure. He has no gateways, he has no units. He needs to serve. Well, he's gonna get Storm. He's just gonna die here. What? Why would you go Storm here rather than Sentries? If you play 3-4 Sentry, Battery Cannon, and you start pumping out Immortal off of a low gateway count, I can see that work. If you go into Storm, this can only work against high Marine counts, but you knew your opponent had double Tech Lab already, didn't you? This is going to be such a rough defense here. There's still a single Storm left, but there's not even a battery here. Storm does kind of hit, but Dream says, hey, that's fun and all, but you don't have any units. Dream's gonna move in, and after having such a big early game advantage, now leverage that into a win. DK. Oh, this is Classic complaining about balance. DK, this is the old school way of saying this is imbalanced. DK stands for David Kim, who used to be the old balance designer, the lead balance designer in StarCraft 2. And Koreans very often blamed him personally for the lack of balance in a game, saying things like David Kim or Thanks DK or DK. In Classic, of course, a very old school player still using that, even though David Kim hasn't been working on StarCraft for 5-6 years and also left Blizzard completely at this point to create his own game studio, but still getting blamed later into his life for the balance in StarCraft 2. You love to see it. That's going to be it for today, as Dream did manage to win this series 3-1 against Classic, taking home the victory. Congratulations to him. I hope you all enjoyed, had a good time. Be sure to like the video, and we'll see you all next time for more stuff. Ciao, ciao.